Welcome to this week's Rubber Run Sports Show.
Shot on location at Robinson High School.
I'm Maggie Curry.
I'm Allie Carball.
I'm Carolyn Carball.
I'm Shay Dillon.
I'm Abby Glazer.
I'm Hannah Davis.
I'm Blake Hopkins.
I'm Hannah Buck.
I'm Olivia Curran.
I'm Haley Crosser.
I'm Lily Tlevas.
I'm Maddie Malone.
I'm Caroline Broderick.
I'm Araz Stone.
I'm Kate Mulvenon.
I'm Claire Alvarez.
I'm Allie Klugel.
I'm Caroline Wolford.
I'm Grace Tompkins.
I'm Rebecca Alvarad.
I'm Caitlin Lee.
And I'm Katie Chkowski, and we are the Robinson Girls Lacrosse Team, 3-time 6A state champs.
Thank you, ladies, for the intro, and welcome to Rubber Run Sports Show. I'm John Moore, joined as always with Robbie and Papa.
A little sweating.
A little sweating.
A little sweating.
It's been a fun spring.
Yeah. It doesn't feel like spring today.
It doesn't.
No.
It's so funny. We talked about it earlier. It was like cold, raining all spring, and then state championship games is like middle of the summer.
Yeah, man. Somebody should build a dome just for us.
They should. They should. Well, we had a lot before we get to the games that we were at all week leading up to the state championship games. There's a couple big winners who were teams that we really enjoy watching this year.
Absolutely.
Start off with the George Mason girls lacrosse team.
George Mason girls lacrosse, they beat Riverside in the finals. They had lost to them earlier in the year. I think that was George Mason's only loss.
Yeah.
That team really, they're really good. And shout out to them. Courtney Gibbons.
Yeah. Shout out to Courtney.
Courtney, hey, I talked to her yesterday after the game. She's thrilled.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's awesome. So shout out to them. That's great.
Also, Riverside as a high school, I mean, this is their second year in existence.
Unbelievable.
And their spring sports overall really put the school on the map.
If you don't know about Riverside's programs, you better.
Boys soccer, boys lacrosse.
Yeah. And their lacrosse team, if you're 5A or 6A and you want to be undefeated next year, do not put Riverside on your schedule.
No.
Because they're going to be even better next year.
Yeah.
They're great. They got a sophomore class that is unreal.
They got a tennis state championship.
Yep.
And as you mentioned earlier, they got the girls lacrosse runner-up in state. So
yeah. Shout out to Noah Spalding.
Yeah.
He gave a post-game speech to the guys lacrosse team after the semifinal game. I'm not saying they won because of his speech, but his speech was really good. And Noah, give me that shirt. I want that Goon Life shirt you got.
Well, speaking of the last name Spaldings, I started off the week in the state semifinal game at Oakton, South County at Oakton High School.
Yeah.
The atmosphere was fantastic.
Of course.
Both sides. South County Hype Squad was in full effect. Oakton was packed. It was a really crazy atmosphere out there. And this game was, I mean, it was back and forth. Nobody was really in control at all. You know, your big guy Jay Cole, he was backing people down.
Awesome.
You know, and Dylan Spalding. Okay, Dylan Spalding.
He's a man.
He had a highlight that I almost felt it was too offensive to tweet, where he took out two Oakton players. They know what I'm talking about. The second guy bounced off of him as if
like he was a brick wall.
Yes.
And Dylan looked at him like, what are you trying to do?
He did. I love that guy's tenacity. I mean, he is a grown man out there playing.
He is.
But yeah, every time South County got up, Oakton would come back. They would go to Cole. He scored a lot of big goals. There's another Cole on their team. Are they brothers?
I don't know. I'm not sure if they're brothers.
Well, he's good too. Yeah, and one of them is a little younger, so
might be.
Maybe they're brothers, maybe they're not. Either way, they play some good lacrosse over there.
Jake's a big dude.
He is a big dude. So this game was 7-7 after the third, and it looked like it could be one of those maybe overtime game, next person to score wins, but something happened in the fourth, and there was a call against South County late, and you kind of got the feeling that, you know, the South County side were, you know, I was talking to one of the parents on South County side, and he said it's a shame when referees, you know, they came in there, they called a couple consecutive penalties on the same play, like in a sportsman, like it was late, and it's like, understand the time of the game, and the magnitude, but you kind of got that feeling that Oakton might be in a position to take control, and then the opposite happens. I mean, South County runs off 4 goals. They end up winning the game 12-8. They were dominant. They seemed to be the more the better conditioned team in the fourth quarter of that game.
Man, they have guys that can score.
Absolutely.
I mean, they have guys that can score. And again, Spalding,
he's fun to watch.
he is, man.
Yeah.
He passes so well.
He does.
You don't, I don't know if it's because he's, we see him as a freak, as a receiver on the
Right.
football field, but you just don't expect him to be able you don't expect to see him play
Right.
lacrosse like he does.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yep. It's a big 12-8 win for South County that set them up with a date with W.T. Woodson in the final,
Yeah.
which we'll get to later.
Absolutely.
So, in the girls' semifinal game, Robinson played Langley.
Yeah, it was a rematch. They played just 2 weeks ago or whatever it was. Langley came out on top. Langley 21-0 going into that game.
Yeah.
So I get to Langley and I'm there and I see, Dan Tchaikovsky, Katie's dad.
Right.
He, not going to say what kind of shirt he was wearing, but I see him. I see him before the game, and we had talked a little bit about it. And he had asked me if I saw this game a couple weeks ago, and I told him I did. And I thought the thing that really got the game for Langley in the last game was their draw.
Right.
They did some things on the draw where they were able to get it. Katie Tchaikovsky does a great job on the draw, but they were able to do some things to kind of throw that off. So I told him before the game, I said, if they can make an adjustment on the draw, I think Robinson's going to come out on top. Langley dominated the draw at the beginning.
Huh.
They go up 3-1 early. I mean, it's tough to do that against Robinson.
Absolutely.
But Langley came out. They knew exactly what they were doing. They Katie's a tall girl. She likes to get the ball up on the draw, and Langley did some things to kind of throw that off. Robinson calls a timeout down 3-1. Coach Liz Case makes an adjustment, slides somebody else in the middle, puts Katie and Ellie on the sides there. All of a sudden it's 3-3, 4-3. Robinson just goes. They go on a tear. At one point in that game, Katie Tchaikovsky scores 4 straight goals. she was on fire. In the stretch. Yeah, she completely took over that game, set it apart. You could see, it was still a close game, but you could see as the game went on, Langley wasn't used to being in that position. They weren't used to being there. It threw them off a little bit. You could see they were a little bit dejected. Robinson goes on to win that game. It's 8-4 in the first half, so it's still pretty close, but Robinson goes on to win. The fans were great. There was guys lacrosse players for Robinson out there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they were supporting. Coach Curran was out there supporting. Coach Brian Hazard, the wrestling coach, was out there supporting.
That's great.
It was awesome. You see that much support for that team. It was great to see. Langley's stadium was there. Their side was packed. It was a great atmosphere, a great game. Classy group over there with Langley. Championship pedigree with Robinson.
Absolutely.
They go on to win.
The home of champions.
Home of champions.
Home of champions. So Potomac Falls
Whoa.
Okay. Potomac Falls girls in a highly anticipated.
Thankful for the breeze, though.
Exactly. Highly anticipated game against Marshall in the state championship.
Yeah, rematch of last year's state title game.
Right.
Rematch of the regional championship game. We're gonna do another show this week. We're gonna go more into depth on that game.
Absolutely.
But basically, Tori Burks, Kelsey Curl, dominant.
It's a wrap.
Just dominant.
Yeah.
They really stretched that thing out in the second half and took control.
Yeah.
They go on to win. I think it was 12-9, 13-9.
Right.
They're Potomac Falls back-to-back state champs.
Congratulations.
Yeah, absolutely.
We got to do something about my entrance into Potomac Falls High School.
It's a good thing you weren't at that game. Let me just say, because there were some things in the student section going on there yesterday
really?
that I was privy to. That
Have to shun them.
Yeah, it wasn't exactly great. I'll just say that, and it's not fair to the Potomac Falls girls players because that team is really good, and there were some things going on in the student section that wasn't as good as them.
Yeah. Well, you know who's more than really good? The Robinson girls lacrosse team.
Yeah,
played Centerville in the championship game.
It's awesome. We're out here, get to talk about 2 of their games this week.
Absolutely.
I told you last week, I called it. They were going to win the state title.
You did.
That team's just they're too tough. They're too mentally tough, and they're too they just got that championship. They got championship mentality, and you can see it every time they play in games like that. That game, look, Centerville, great.
Yeah.
I met Elizabeth Murphy's dad before the game.
Really?
Talked to Mr. Richborg too.
Nice.
He confirmed I did coach against Kyle.
Oh, really?
And I coached against him. He said he was a coach in that league. We coached against each other that year.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, it was awesome. It's the Centerville crowd, let me say first. Excellent. Maybe the best crowd I've seen this year for a lacrosse game. The Centerville crowd was unbelievable. They were chanting CATS, cats
really?
to the game.
Oh, I like it.
They were hyped up. They let the ref know when they didn't like calls. That's for sure. One of them came to me during the game and was like, "Hey man, we thought it was hilarious when you said we were some drunk uncles up in the stands." So of course you getting me in trouble when I go somewhere to a game.
That's a good time.
It was awesome.
Everyone's got a fun drunk uncle.
That game was great.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just back and forth the entire way. High scoring game. Neither team had control at any point until late in that game. You could see, man, Elizabeth Murphy, she had 5 goals in the game. She starts to bring them back, but every time Centerville got into a position where they could take control, Robinson would score a goal.
Yeah.
Oh man, all right. Kate Mulvenon, bad knee, torn ACL.
Yeah.
Did not want to give up her senior year. She wanted to play all year with that knee. She knew what was at stake. She wanted to end her career the right way. Best game she's played all year, I think. Yeah. 4 goals. To me, she was the player of the game, and she was great.
Good for her. That's tough.
It was awesome. Obviously, Ellie Klugel, I think she had 4 goals too.
Yeah. They're so loaded.
They're loaded, and I wanted, I didn't ask her about this, but it's gotta be different being that player that everybody on the opposing team wants out of the game.
Yeah.
No matter what happens, there's people in the crowds yelling, "Get her out of the game." It doesn't matter. She could do absolutely nothing, but they want to get her out. That game was great, high scoring. It finishes, 16-13 was the final. Shout out to Ashley Kimmener and to the Centerville program. It was great. They're amazing. Ashley Kimmener obviously has a great future ahead of her in this area, coaching lacrosse. Man, you couldn't ask for a better championship game. You couldn't ask for 2 better programs to be going at it. Robinson comes out on top. Yeah. They have a player, Claire Alvarez.
Okay.
She's the fastest girl I've seen on the lacrosse field.
Is that right?
Declan Conley from Robinson, probably the second fastest or the fastest guy I've seen.
Yeah.
Those two fastest people on the lacrosse field. She separates them in ways during a game because she can get the ball from one end to the other in a matter of no time, and it's hard for people to defend. But we did have a chance to sit down with some of the girls. We had a chance to sit down with Katie, Ellie, and with head coach Liz Case. Better be coach for life, Liz Case.
That's right.
All right, ladies, congratulations. Take you through the game yesterday and just talk a little bit about that.
All right, Ellie.
Okay. So we came out pretty fast, which was good. We knew we needed to start out fast because all season long we had a few games and they ended up being close because we had come out so slow. So while we're usually a second half team, I thought we got off to a pretty good start, and we went up, and then we kind of had, I guess maybe it was the heat, I don't know, but some things started getting a little off, so we knew we needed to get back on track. That was when it started getting kind of close. Coach Case called a few great timeouts. We had some really, really intense pick-me-up goals, and we were able to build up that momentum again. And as you know, like how it turned out, pretty great for us. So, do you have anything to add?
All right. Well, yeah, we know how it turned out because you all are flexing the rings in front of everybody. It's awesome. So this season, being your senior year, coming off the back-to-back, how difficult was this year compared to the years before?
We did lose a pretty big group last year. A lot of really good talent was left and went on to play the next level. And so we were kind of nervous coming into the season of who was going to fill in what roles. But we had some freshmen step up, which was really helpful, and a lot of underclassmen. So we were a little bit nervous and skeptical at first, but we came out so hard, and we've played a really great season. So I'm really proud of how we finished.
Yeah, we overcame a lot of obstacles. We had a lot of injuries, and we lost a few games, and that kind of got us down. But in the end we did end up pulling through, so that was great.
Yeah, and I think those losses really helped us because in the past we haven't really experienced that. Last year we went undefeated, and that was great itself, but I think facing the challenges we faced this year and learning what it was like to lose, having some humility, really made us that much stronger, and it made the victory so much sweeter.
Well, what's it like? Look, everybody knows the Robinson Lacrosse program, so you get team's best game all the time. What's it like having to deal with that all the time, and what's it like when you lose a game, like you talked about, you lost a game earlier in the year? What's it like when you see those other teams celebrating because they beat you and they feel like they conquered something by doing that?
Well, one of the things we did after that loss was we watched them celebrate, and we were like, that was us all last year. We know what it feels like, and we don't want to be in this position again. So that kind of motivated us throughout the season, I think.
Yeah, it was hard to see all of it on social media and all of them celebrating, but we knew we were like, you know what, let them have this, like let them be excited, and we're just going to work hard and like keep our heads down and stay low. And then when we do win, it'll be a really big deal, and we can be humble about it.
Is it sweeter having those losses earlier in the year than being undefeated all year? Is it sweeter having those losses and being able to do that?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah. Because we weren't, like, last year we were undefeated, so everyone, like, wanted to beat us and stuff. And this year people still did want to beat us, but we weren't, like, the top. We weren't the number 1 seed in the region going into states. We were the 3rd seed. So I think that really, like, helped a lot.
Yeah, it was nice because like going into the Langley game, I know I said like we have nothing to lose. Like we were the underdogs in that one, so it's like we get to come in with a little bit less pressure and we can be more relaxed. While on the other hand, like the other team is like, well, we've beaten them, so like we have something to prove now. But so that was nice. So it was like a lot less pressure for us.
Let's talk a little bit about Coach Case. She should be coach for life at Robinson at this point. Talk a little bit about her and the adjustments that she makes in the game.
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, in all of our close games this year, last year, especially, we have those clutch timeouts, and she gets us in, and it's usually when the score is not that great, when we're kind of letting up, but she really has this great power and ability to just fire us up and get us all together and get us focused on what we need to do. She tells us specifically what we need to do. She always asks us, do you want to win this game? And the answer is always yes, and so far it's been working.
Does she still have game in practice? Can she still take it to go when she get on the field?
She does
yeah.
come play with
She
us.
does
She's
play
got
with
that
us.
lefty shot, and she rips it.
Yeah.
Pretty funny.
She did the lucky shot.
That's awesome. Well, look, you all, the three of you have, in the last couple of games, have all kind of stepped up in a different way. Katie, you had 4 goals in a row against Langley to kind of set that game apart. Katie, you had 4 goals yesterday that really kind of took control of things. Talk about the contributions of each of you kind of stepping up in different moments.
I think what's really important about our team is that if someone is off on something, we have so many other players who will pick each other up, like in other aspects of the game. So like Ellie was getting face guarded in that game, so we all knew that Ellie scores so many of our goals, so we knew that we had to pick her up for that one. And like getting the draw and stuff, and she came out so clutch with the draw in the Langley game also. So just being able to have all that, like all the different talents on our team, it's like really helped us win.
And I think that's something that we were kind of afraid of, because we do have a really young team this year. We had so many sophomores, and last year with graduating all those seniors that have gone on to play at the next level, we really needed, like Katie said, people to step up into those roles. So I think we were kind of afraid of that at the beginning of the season, that we might not have as balanced of an attack as we did before. But then in the Milton game, in the Langley game, the most recent one, people really did step up. And it was just, you can't help but being so happy and just running and screaming. And we were celebrating after every single goal in that game, because we had a sophomore starting and scoring the first goal in that Langley game. And then we had a freshman scoring the last one and sealing it out for us. So it was just an incredible feeling. And it really speaks to our team chemistry and unity that we've been working so hard all season to like build these girls up and get them ready for this moment.
Yeah, and you have to credit Katie and Ellie for that one, because they're great captains, and every single practice, like, they get there early and they're shooting and they stay late and they shoot, and like they inspire those girls to work harder, and I think they're really good role models for those girls. So hopefully next year they'll be able to carry the team based off of what they taught them.
And the last thing I have for you, Who leads the team in jump hugs? You all jump hug more than anybody I've ever seen.
Yeah, probably
Katie.
Yeah.
And
I always,
it's
yeah.
funny because she's like the tallest one on the team too, so she's jumping into your arms
You
and
see
you
Grace
can't really carry her.
Yeah. Tompkins and I just go and bear hug.
We just
the
collide
funniest
in the
thing.
air sometimes. It's really uncoordinated.
Coach Case may have been worried about an injury sometimes when Katie was doing that.
No, there was one time where I jumped up on Kate and literally just like hugged her and tied my legs around her, and I'm like, crap, she has a torn ACL. I can't do that.
It's fine.
Congratulations. It's been a pleasure watching you all over the last couple of years, and can't wait to see what you do on the next level.
Thank you.
Thank you.
so much.
Good.
Nice.
Yay!
All right, Coach, let's talk about it. Back-to-back-to-back. Take me through that game yesterday.
Just extremely exciting. I think everybody was very nervous. I know we have our parents who do the same tradition. Some of them actually brought blankets and wore jeans to the game because in previous games they won, so it was kind of that superstition. Even though we've won it 2 times before, we never went into that game thinking that we had it.
Yeah.
So it was extremely exciting. It was nice to get up by 4 goals in the beginning, but then they came back, so that got really nerve-wracking as a coach. And then it was just a really tough played game back and forth because the heat definitely took a toll on both sides. And yeah, I mean, we were lucky we came out on top. I thought our seniors did a great job leading the team. I felt like the entire season our underclassmen had to step up, and they truly did, and it was important for them to step up in that game, especially knowing that they were going to mark our top players. They were face guarding them. So, yeah, I mean, everyone played their hearts out, played really well.
Well, you had a tough duo to defend yesterday.
Yes.
And Elizabeth Murphy and Paige Richborg are
Yes.
great. What was your game plan to defend against those two?
Probably do the same thing that what they did to us. We face guarded them as well, and we definitely were pressuring them as soon as they got the ball. So we'd put like a double on them because we knew that they were that lethal. But yeah, I mean, it was a tough markup because they are so good.
What's the difference between this one and the previous years?
I think the previous years, the talent pool that we had, we graduated a lot of seniors that were, amazing players and they're playing at the next level. So this year we didn't have that, so we graduated a lot, and then we had a very young team. We only have 1 junior on our team. And the biggest thing was that the schedule I put together was not easy for any team, let alone for a team that's young.
Yeah.
But in setting that schedule, my goal was to challenge these girls early on in the season so that they would be prepared for a situation in games that were really tight. And even those 2 losses by 1 goal, I felt were games that really helped them understand what I was saying the entire season, that the younger girls really need to step up because that's going to make the difference. And in the last 2 games, they really did. And it made a huge difference.
Yeah. Well, what's that like for you as a coach? How big of a difference is that coming off a group that, with the experience that you had last year, going into a younger team this year?
It definitely took us a lot longer in coaching and teaching and going over plays constantly. And, we would have to take 1 step forward and take 2 steps back because we understood that girls weren't picking things up as quickly as in previous years. And, it's one of those things where you just have to stop and actually re-teach things and re-coach things and break things down again. So, practices were hard and they were brutal and they were tough. But, I think in the long run, everything paid off because the girls really did get it and they understood where we were coming from as coaches. And they really did the work and they understood it. And they had the upperclassmen who really did help as well in reassuring them that, if they had any questions, it's harder sometimes to come to the coach, but they would go to each other and make sure that they understood the plays and stuff like that, and they would work together with everything, so it helped.
How did your background prepare you to coach these teams?
Well, I'm originally from New York, so it's kind of funny. Some people have actually asked me, how do you coach? I'm like, New York style. It's the only thing I know, but I came from a very successful high school, and, I as well went to state championships too there, so
She's flexing her rings right now. See that?
No, so I mean, being in New York, being in a very competitive high school, playing, and I actually played as an 8th grader going up to high school, so I played with really good girls, like competitive girls who also went off to play in college. In my senior class, we actually had 8 girls going to Division I lacrosse. And when I decided to go to Mason, I played at Mason, and being Mason, I was at one point like Mason was really a Division I program, but didn't feel like it because I felt like sometimes my high school team at the time when it was just building up the program, it was really frustrating because we didn't have the talent at the time because it was an early recruiting. So I was one of the second, like, bigger recruiting classes. So challenges there, like knowing that sometimes you don't have a lot of support and you have to take the lead and you have to take a game on your back kind of situation. So I think in that background, it definitely helped me coach these girls up and be able to get them to understand the entire game and have them be able to understand how to play in tight situations and know they could do it.
Last thing I have for you is how much time do you get to enjoy this? How much time off do you have? When do you start to prepare for next year?
Actually, I'm always thinking about down the line. We have these great managers that we have actually 12 managers. So, it's one of those things that I never stop. I'm always looking to see who's coming up the line and, see what's going to happen in the future of girls playing and stuff like that. And actually today we're going to go watch our girls play, the managers play in their championship game. So I think that's the biggest thing is that we're not just a sport, or we're like a family, and we support each other, and as a coaching staff we're truly, like, I look at them as my best friends. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. She better be Robinson's coach for life, that's for sure. Coach Liz Case, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good. All right, great interviews. I mean, what a program they have going. Lacrosse, boys and girls side. The boys obviously came up short, but
yeah,
I mean, just lacrosse in general at Robinson is
awesome.
Yeah, it's the best.
It's awesome. How jealous are you that I got to wear those rings, though?
I'm jealous. Pretty jealous. It's okay. I'm about to join someone's staff. I just haven't decided who's.
Keith Honore, don't let him do it.
I'm coming, coach.
Don't let him do it.
Well, last but certainly not least, and the only reason why we're not devoting more time on this game is because we will be filming at W.T. Woodson this week for next week's show. Spoiler alert.
It's becoming like an every season thing that we're doing.
They're like championship high part two.
Yeah, man. They're so good. We need to devote a whole show.
I'm telling you. So W.T. Woodson, they play in the finals since South County, and again, we'll go in more depth next week on the show. But they end up winning the game 12-8. Or 11-9, I'm sorry, it was 11-9, it was close, it was exciting towards the end. Jackson Miller starred, he had 4 goals to assist. Bobby Solomon had 3 goals to assist. Shout out to our boy Jojo Heisley.
Jojo.
Came up and told us how he appreciated our coverage of him over the years, gave us a jersey.
Love that guy.
Yeah, we'll be looking forward to having them on the show.
Yeah, and as we leave you, support public schools. Yeah, there's a lot of people that, support public schools.
Support public schools. Had a chance to talk to Coach Ryan Hilliard and Jackson Miller after the game, so we will leave you with that interview. Coach John Moore, Rough Run Sports, congratulations.
Hey John, thank you.
Todd, what are your emotions right now?
It's kind of surreal. I was just telling the other guy, it's kind of, we just beat them for the 4th time. This time it's for the ring. It's all that matters. I don't think it's quite sunk in yet, though. I think in the next couple of days we'll be able to really enjoy this.
Talk about the resiliency of your kids. They're up 10-4. They come out, score 4 goals in about 2 minutes to start the 4th.
Yeah.
But it seems to be no panic on your side.
Well, there's 2 things we always like to say. We've gone through some tough times this year. We got our hats handed to us by Briar Woods early in the year. We had a tough loss to this team early in the year, and we bounced back from that. We just kept bouncing back. I think the story of this team is resiliency. And the mantra for today is just make one play at a time. Just make one play at a time. The next play, don't worry about what just happened, and just keep playing lax. Just keep playing lacrosse.
Congrats, man. What are your emotions right now?
I don't know. I can't really put into words right now. It's pretty exciting. We've been working 4 years for this. It's crazy to go out like this.
You looked unstoppable out there a couple times. They tripped you up down to this end. You got up, scored on them. Were you in the zone today?
Yeah, it helps that Bobby Solomon takes a lot of the attention away. Clears up a lot of space for me, so then I can go do my thing.
You go up 10-4. They score 4 quick goals. What are your feelings? You guys seem to stay calm.
Yeah. Before the game, we knew it was going to be a game of runs. We knew that they were going to get their goals, but we were going to get our goals, and it was just all about composure. And we called that timeout, and we got them together, and we said, just got to fight for this last, I think it was like 5 minutes or so.
Well, congrats, man. What's your second?